So let's dive right in. Imagine for a moment. What if the secret to overcoming your deepest struggles, to truly unleashing your full potential, isn't just about pushing harder?
What if it's about grasping something?
Yeah,
Well, subtler, a deeper internal dynamic.
exactly.
That's precisely what we're exploring today. We're taking a deep dive into this concept of Shiflut.
Shiflut. Okay.
Yeah, it's often translated as, lowliness, sadness, maybe even a kind of inner lethargy.
But it's more than just feeling down.
Oh, much more. Profoundly, it seems to act as a final internal barometer. It tells us if we're truly bringing our inner strengths from just being ideas into actual action.
And our insights today, they come from a discussion by Rabbi Itamar Schwartz.
That's right. He unpacks some really profound psychological and spiritual principles around this.
So our goal here, for you listening, is to offer a kind of roadmap.
Yeah, to help you understand what holds back your internal powers, maybe how to spot these blockages in yourself.
And even what to look for if you're seeking someone to genuinely guide you on this path.
Right. Get ready for potentially some aha moments about why you might feel, stuck.
Okay, so the core challenge, it revolves around actualizing potential.
Exactly. The source calls it Hatsa Eko Shlapol. It's about bringing your inner powers, your strengths, your talents
From just being potential.
into active manifestation, into the real world.
So a person who's, let's say, complete, they've actually done that. They've brought their inner stuff out.
Largely, yes. They've taken those innate powers and made them real in their life, in their actions. It's like turning the blueprints into the actual building.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Conversely, an incomplete person, they leave a lot of that potential dormant. The blueprints stay in the drawer, so to speak.
And that has consequences, right? It's not just neutral.
No, definitely not. When powers remain unactualized, it leads to real internal suffering.
Suffering, how so?
Well, think of it like a physical body. If there's accumulated internal pressure, fluids maybe, that can't be released. That pressure builds up. It causes distress. It's a similar kind of spiritual discomfort, a deep unease.
That's a really vivid image. And this isn't a new idea, is it? The sources mention historical examples.
Right, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He was apparently someone who actualized his incredible potential at a remarkably young age.
So it shows this is a kind of timeless principle about human flourishing, not just a modern concept.
Indeed. Which brings us to the big question. What actually holds people back? What stops this actualization process?
Okay. And the source identifies two main obstacles.
Two main ones, yes.
The first one sounds familiar, just plain laziness. Excellent.
Right. This is the simpler one, maybe more straightforward. A direct lack of will or desire to exert effort.
And you usually know it when you see it, right? Or feel it.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty identifiable. You see that piece of paper on the floor, you know you should pick it up, but you just lack the energy.
Or forgetting your keys and thinking, I really don't want to walk back upstairs.
Exactly. That kind of feel. Too sluggish, too lazy to go back.
And dealing with that, well, it's not always easy, but it's a more direct fight.
It is. It's a conscious battle. It requires cultivating inner strength. The source describes it as needing to be as strong as a lion, a direct confrontation.
Okay. But then there's the second obstacle, and this one sounds much deeper.
It is. And according to the source, it's actually the more common root of suffering.
Really? More common than laziness.
Apparently so. It's an imbalance or a lack of awareness of one's own inner powers.
So it's not that you lack the power or talent.
No, not at all. The power is there. It's about the inability to properly use it, to navigate your strengths because of some internal disorganization or just not truly knowing yourself.
So like having a powerful engine, but the timing's off, or the driver doesn't know how to handle it.
That's a great way to think about it. The source uses a fantastic analogy, a busy traffic intersection.
Okay.
Imagine a police officer trying to direct traffic, but they don't have perfect wisdom, perfect timing. They're doing their best. But because they can't perfectly balance the flow from all directions, what happens?
Gridlock. A massive traffic jam.
Exactly. A huge blockage, maybe stretching for miles. That's like the imbalance in a person's inner powers. It creates these internal blockages that stop them from acting effectively.
Wow. That resonates, that feeling of internal gridlock.
I think most of us have felt that, haven't we? You just know you should be able to move forward, but everything feels jammed up inside.
So this is kind of a paradigm shift. The idea that most suffering isn't just laziness.
But comes from this deeper imbalance, this lack of knowing your own internal landscape, your powers, and how to align them.
Yeah. That's what leads to feeling blocked, that deep suffering in the soul.
It really reframes things. Which leads to the next obvious question. How on earth do we diagnose this complex inner landscape?
Right. How do you figure out what's really going on inside?
Well, our source offers a pretty powerful three-part approach, though it's important to say up front.
It's not like a medical test with a definite result.
Exactly. This gives you a fairly clear picture. Not 100% certainty. We're in the realm of the human psyche here, so it's about probabilities, strong indicators.
Okay, understood. So what's the first part of this diagnosis?
First, analyze your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Simply put, what have you actually done?
Okay, look at your track record. Achievements, concrete things.
Right. These are clear evidence of powers you possess and have already brought into action, already actualized. Sounds simple, but
And there's a catch.
there's a deeper dive needed. Don't just list the action. Explore the motivation behind it.
The why.
Yes. Take the example of someone who built a large hospital. A huge achievement.
Sure.
But why did they do it? Was it pure charity? Was it financial gain? Maybe a desire for control over healing? Or was it truly deep compassion for the sick?
Unpacking those motives, that reveals the real powers driving the action.
Exactly. And their nature, their drivers.
And the source notes, this isn't always easy. It takes patient, maybe indirect questioning, because we might not even know our own deepest reasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We often have surface reasons, but the deep drivers can be hidden, even from ourselves.
Okay, that's part one, actions and motivations. What's part two?
Part two is fascinating. Explore your imaginations and aspirations. What do you dream of?
Daydreams, fantasies.
It includes both those constant, deeply held aspirations.
Sure.
I always imagine myself doing X, and also the more fleeting, momentary thoughts or desires that pop up.
And these imaginings, they can point to hidden powers.
That's the idea. They often point to powers that exist within you, potentials, but they haven't been actualized yet. They're like forces wanting to come forth, knocking on the door.
So imagination isn't just fluff.
Not at all. Imagination, or demion, is seen as central to human nature. Adam, the Hebrew word for human, can even be related to demion. It's a positive, powerful force. Even prophets used it.
But there must be a potential downside, too.
There is. Here's the trap. If imagination gets unbalanced, if it's not connected to rational thought and reality.
It just becomes escapism.
Right. It can lead to detachment from the real world.
Yeah.
And that actually prevents the actualization of those powers it was hinting at.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Fantasizing about being a rock star is one thing, but if you never pick up a guitar.
Exactly. It stays purely in the realm of fantasy, detached from action.
So actions, imaginations. What's the third part of the diagnosis?
The third is to identify your clear obstacles. What explicitly blocks you?
So looking at the external world now.
Yes, pinpointing those external circumstances or situations that undeniably cause you distress or stop you from functioning the way you want to.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Could be anything, really. Persistent financial struggles, like a constant overdraft you just can't seem to clear.
Okay.
Or maybe relational stress. That phone call from your child's school reporting an issue, and the feeling that specific situation evokes in you.
And again, it's not just identifying the problem, is it?
No, the crucial step is diving into why that specific thing is such a blockage for you.
What's the root emotion?
Precisely. Is it shame? Is it pity? Is it triggering some past trauma or deep-seated fear? Understanding the emotional and psychological roots is key.
Okay, actions, imaginations, obstacles. Now, how do these three work together?
This is where it gets really insightful. Cross-referencing them.
Connecting the dots.
Exactly. Your actions and their motivations, part one, give you solid evidence of powers you already have in operation.
Right. What's already actualized.
But now look at part two and part three together. If an imagination or aspiration you identify
Like dreaming of writing that book?
is accompanied by a clear, identifiable blockage you also identified,
Like the crippling perfectionism or fear of criticism?
that strongly suggests the power behind that dream, the writing power in your example, genuinely exists within you. It's real, but it's currently hindered, blocked.
Wow. So the blockage itself becomes evidence for the power's existence.
In a way, yes. It shows there's something real there that's meeting resistance.
And what if you have the imagination, the dream, but no real identifiable blockage connected to it?
That's the contrast. If a strong imagination exists without a corresponding significant blockage stopping you from pursuing it even slightly, it might suggest the desire is more of a pleasant fantasy.
Less of a true latent power trying to emerge.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
We all have daydreams that are somewhat detached from our core potential. This cross-referencing helps distinguish between a genuine inner calling that's stuck and maybe just a wishful thought.
That's a really useful distinction. Okay, this diagnostic process sounds very analytical, very insightful, but the source also talks about the role of a helper, a therapist maybe, and it says it's not just about analysis.
Absolutely not. This is crucial. A genuine helper in this kind of deep work cannot treat people like, a source says, dead donkeys.
Meaning,
Meaning you can't just mechanically analyze data or questionnaires. The human connection is paramount.
so what is required?
True help, deep help, comes from feeling the client's pain and suffering, really feeling it.
Empathy.
Yes, but maybe even beyond basic empathy. It's not just intellectual understanding, oh, I see you're suffering. It's an emotional connection, sometimes, the source suggests, even to the point of being moved to tears by the other's pain.
Wow, that's intense.
It is. And flowing from that, a person cannot genuinely help others navigate their internal struggles unless they have first done extensive deep work on themselves.
You have to know your own landscape first.
You have to understand and feel your own blockages, achieve some measure of internal balance yourself. It's an absolute prerequisite for guiding others through theirs.
It's like you can't effectively guide someone through a dense forest if you haven't explored that kind of terrain yourself. Maybe gotten lost a few times.
That's an excellent analogy, yes. And furthermore, those who do help others at this deep emotional level, they need their own anchor.
An anchor.
Yeah, a deeper inner point they can return to. Could be spiritual connection, deep study, a core personal philosophy, somewhere they can rest and recenter themselves.
Why? Because it's draining.
Incredibly so. They're absorbing so much of others' suffering. Without that personal anchor, that deeper place to return to, they risk collapsing under the emotional weight.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds incredibly demanding. Does this imply there are limits to who someone can help?
This is where it gets really profound, I think. The source suggests a helper can only truly, genuinely assist someone whose inner depth, whose soul depth, is at or below their own.
Wait, really? You can only help someone less deep or as deep as you are?
That's the implication. They simply cannot fully comprehend or effectively help someone with a soul significantly deeper or more refined than their own. The necessary level of understanding isn't there.
That's fascinating, and it would explain why some people, maybe those with exceptionally deep inner lives,
Often struggle to find suitable help,
yes,
because many conventional therapists or helpers, however well-meaning, might not be able to grasp the true nature or depth of their suffering.
so they get answers that feel.
Shallow, perhaps. Answers that just don't resonate with the profound inner landscape they're navigating.
So what's the key, then, for helping these deeper souls?
A crucial first step, often, is simply affirming their uniqueness, validating it.
Not seeing it as a problem.
Exactly. Not framing their depth as an abnormality or a problem to be fixed, but as a positive, profound inner distinction, something that needs to be understood and actualized, not suppressed or normalized away.
That validation itself could be healing.
Often, it's the very first step. It unlocks the door to actually understanding and working with their unique potential.
Okay, so bringing this all together. For you listening, we've journeyed through this idea of Shiflut as a critical measure of potential meeting reality.
We looked at the two main obstacles, that straightforward, conscious battle with laziness.
And the much deeper, more common struggle with internal imbalance and lack of self-knowledge, that inner traffic jam.
Right. And then we unpacked that three-part method for trying to diagnose your own inner world. Your actions and their why, your imaginations and dreams, and the specific obstacles that block you.
And finally, we touched on the profound, deeply empathetic role of a true helper, someone who feels, who has done their own work, and who understands the limits and importance of matching soul depth.
So as you reflect on your own life, maybe consider what genuinely holds you back. Is it mostly that conscious fight against laziness, that need for more willpower?
Or is it perhaps a deeper puzzle? A need to understand your own unique inner landscape, those hidden powers, those subtle imbalances that maybe you haven't fully grasped yet.
And when you seek guidance, think about what you're looking for. Is it someone who can offer tools and techniques, or someone who can potentially meet you at your own depth, validate your unique experience, and truly feel what you're going through?
The answers, perhaps, lie in daring to look just a little deeper within,